helicopters, you name it, 6 miles away from Bilderberg 2015. It's unprecedented. They shut down the hotel a week before it even begins. Unprecedented. Normally it's a day before. And then now, 2 towns away, 6 miles away, over the mountains, there are checkpoints, classic from the home of Hitler, Austria. Checkpoints, searching cars and looking at everybody's IDs and putting you in a database. And then when they got up 2 miles from it, they did it again. And then the police came to their hotel. And then I didn't hear from Rob Dew or Josh Owens for hours. Paul Watson is staying in London until Wednesday, the day before it starts, so he can more judiciously focus on the reports coming in from our reporters on the ground, Rob Dew and Josh Owens. But Paul Watson is in constant contact hourly with them, getting the latest photos, getting the latest data as it comes in for articles to go on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. To watch those guys work like a team is just amazing. And to watch Rob Dew and Josh Owens communicating to Kit Daniels and others, the way right when they hit the ground, they were all communicating with each other and getting the intel. And Paul Watson's gotten the membership list and the agenda, their public agenda. We've also got their private agenda. It's all up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now. DrudgeReport.com is linked to our story. Bilderberg 2015 full attendee list and agenda. Elitist confab to discuss artificial intelligence. Yes, that's the big obsession. Google exec behind ingestible ID chips to attend Bilderberg 2015. Former DARPA director Regina Duggan to discuss artificial intelligence with global power brokers as they race to get the super AI in control, which I believe from evidence is already operating. It's known as Google. That woman doesn't even look human. Now, continuing, ladies and gentlemen, we will be joined by Rob Dew, Infowars Nightly News Director, and Josh Owens, our cameraman and reporter, on the ground from the mountains of Austria. We're going to show you Google Maps, speaking of AI, and a shot of where they are located coming up in the next segment. We have other incredible news. We reported on this Saturday. Breitbart had it on Sunday, and I could care less who has it first. Point is, we're just telling you about it. Obama to circumvent Congress with gag order on firearm coverage. The State Department is announcing even verbal communications about guns must be approved by them or you'll be indicted with felonies. No judge, no law, no ruling, no Congress, simply the State Department, the same ones that told Cody Wilson last year, Austinite, Infowars listener, who put out a design for a AR-15 printable gun. Not a gun, but the design for one. The State Department threatened to indict him. And he's been in court since then for daring to put the file out internationally. They claimed global hegemonic control. Well, now that wasn't opposed, they're claiming, and the NRA says the way it reads in the Federal Register, communicating about the Second Amendment, telling you about legislation, mentioning any type of information about reloading, just basically any communication, they're going to come after you outside of law. Supreme Court rejects NRA's challenge to San Francisco gun regulation. Really bad news on that front. It's all coming up. Rand Paul demands White House release trade deal text immediately. Stay with us. Bilderberg 2015 breaking frontline coverage is 3 minutes away. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on this Monday, the 8th day of June, 2015. I am your host, Alex Jones, coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, Austin. We have unprecedented news, unprecedented breaking information that affects basically everything on our globe, that connects in to the TPP and other globalist treaties that circumvent sovereignty, that are dictatorial. The Bilderberg Group, founded in the early 1950s in Oosterbeek, Holland, has been made up of British, Dutch royalty, European and U.S. robber barons, crony capitalists. Their own annals have been released to the BBC about 8 years ago, admitting that they founded the European Union by stealth. Just as the TPP ties the Pacific region into the American Union through NAFTA and GATT and ties into the EU, this system was set up in secret, and Bilderberg brags. Members of Bilderberg have bragged since they've been exposed that they created the European Union. The G7 is meeting as we speak in Europe. Then they will segue into the Bilderberg Group meeting in Austria, in the mountains. Now, in past Bilderberg Group events, they closed the hotel the day before. This time, they closed it over a week before. And my reporters, Rob Dew and Josh Owen, who we're about to talk to right now, encountered roadblocks driving in from the airport 40 miles away in Telfs at the base of the mountain range, 6 miles from the hotel. They searched their vehicles. They pulled things out of the car. They searched other people's vehicles. They had the highway shut down. 2 miles outside, more checkpoints. They had police at their little lodge hotel 2 miles away searching people as well. So joining us from 2 miles from the Bilderberg Group meeting is our reporters, Josh Owens and, of course, Rob Dew, InfoWars Nightly News director. This is unprecedented because 10 years ago, mainstream media would say this didn't exist. But thanks to DrudgeReport.com, the London Guardian gets credit as well, they began to link to our stories about a decade ago, forcing national debate. I've had the New York Times come out and say, this doesn't exist. Well, no, the TPP does exist. Obama ruling by executive action does exist. And now that we're forcing an international, national debate about this whole agenda is in trouble. Senator Paul is demanding Obama release the TPP right now. A lot of exciting things are going on. We're exposing the globalist shadow government that I liken it to something like Spectre from James Bond movies or Hydra from Captain America. I mean, that's really... Pull it up in mainstream Austrian news. Guess who the security is this year for Bilderberg? Cobra Security. And guess what? They're based out of a castle nearby. So their security wears black uniforms, calls themselves Cobra, and comes out of a Germanic castle. This is where reality is stranger than fiction. We'll put up that article on screen later if you're a viewer or listener. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Joining us now from the tiny hamlet up the mountain from Telf to give us the details is Rob Dew, and to talk about what he's gone through, Rob Dew of Infowars.com.
Thank you, Alex. Rob Dew reporting live from Telfs, Austria. We actually had to come back down into Telfs to get a better signal. Our cell phone signal was not too good up there on the mountain. But let me tell you, what I've seen today is so far blown out of proportion. The security on here, you just go right up the road here, around the curve, right outside of Telfs, and you hit a giant roadblock. They're diverting cars off to the side. They stopped us. They didn't like Josh's Texas driver's license, so they said, pull over. So we pulled over. Then they wanted to see the papers of the car. Then they wanted to know what we were doing. We showed them the booking check-in. That wasn't good enough. They wanted to see our passports. Then they said, open up the trunk. They wanted to see what was in our bags. This blows my mind.
Rob, you're having a little bit of audio problem. You're overdriven. If you can turn down your audio at source or back that mic away about a foot, that'd be good. Rob Dew, right. Rob Dew of Infowars.com joining us from the foot of the mountain where the Bilderberg Group meeting is set to be. He's about 6 miles out where they've set up checkpoints 6 miles out. Truly unprecedented. Rob Dew.
That's right. And right up that hill behind me is where the Bilderberg are meeting. Up that mountain. You can't really up. And let me tell you, it gets really weird when you get up there. There's police vans everywhere. And these aren't like the local police. The local police here wear khakis and they kind of look like Boy Scouts. That's a bell going off of a church right next to me. If you want to pan up there and see that, we're right next to this giant church. We decided to come down here and shoot. But let me tell you, Alex, the amount of police presence here is ridiculous. They were at our hotel when we arrived. We were the only two people at this hotel. The owners weren't even there. They had left the key under the doormat for us. Okay? And so we see a police van. They come out. They start questioning us. We're trying to call the owners to check in. We couldn't even check into the hotel. We had cops surrounding us. We put a video up on InfoWars on the YouTube channel, the Alex Jones channel. You should be able to see it now. It should be uploaded. We're dealing with low bandwidth out here. We're in the middle of nowhere. This is the middle of the Austrian Alps, which is, I think, why the Bilderbergers chose this place, because it's secret. It's very secluded. There's nothing surrounding that hotel but forest and a golf course, and there's nothing else around it. Even the paths, the hiking paths, we saw police walking the hiking paths. They're going on foot patrols. They are serious about this. And let me tell you, after I talked to you, Alex, you said they're going to come back and talk to you. Guess what? They showed up at our door. About 8 of them show up, and then more show up. They just come marching down the hill. They want to see our passports. They want to start checking us over.
Rob Dew, Infowars.com, nightly news director. I want you to start over from the beginning, flying into Austria, driving in, A to Z. Tell us about what's happened in your last 8 hours there on the ground where it's about to be evening.
Okay. Yeah, it's about 6 o'clock, 6:30 right now. We flew in. We first made a stop in O'Hare, and I decided to shoot a report, ask some people about Bilderberg. Nobody really knew about it. Nobody knew anything about it. They thought it was a group. And that's what I find. Most people just don't know what it is. I was at a party with some buddies of mine, told them I'm going to the Bilderberg conference in Austria. And they go, Bilderberg? Bilderberg? No, it's not Bilderberg, people. It's the Bilderberg group. It's some of the most influential people in Western culture. Europe, Canada, United States. They all get together and they all conspire in secret. And they say it's a private meeting, so they don't want you there. But they make you pay for all the police presence. There's 2,000 cops crawling over this mountain right now that the people of Switzerland, or in Austria, I'm sorry, the people of Austria are going to be paying for out of their tax dollars when they don't have taxes for roads.
That's right, Rob. And so describe, once you got to Austria, break down what happened to you today.
All right. So we pull into Telfs. We finally got here. It took a long time, long flight across the Atlantic Ocean. We pull into Telfs. Everything looks fine. We round the corner outside of Telfs. And boom, giant security checkpoint. They're diverting the traffic off to the right. They're stopping people. They have a canopy built over this area. I mean, it wasn't something that they just built. This wasn't just a couple of cones. No, it is a giant roadblock, and this is the future. This is the future if people don't wake up and start demanding answers and demanding accountability from people who are part of the Bilderberg operation. So we got pulled over, and they asked to see Josh's license. He shows them his Texas driver's license. He goes, Texas, eh? And then he wants to see our passports. And then we show them they don't like that we're going up that area, so we show them the booking papers and say, hey, we're staying at a hotel right up the hill. And they didn't like that. They wanted to see my passport because my name's attached to the booking. And then they go, well, get out. Let's see the car. So then at that point, I pulled the camera out and start filming. And then I guess he was a higher ranking official there. He had a different colored shirt on, different hat. He says, no, don't do that. So he tapped me on the shoulder, so I put the camera down. Because I don't know how these guys act here, especially the police that are patrolling right now are a lot different than the local police here. The local police here kind of look like Boy Scouts. They have khakis with green. These guys are wearing blue military
they're federal.
fatigue.
They're federal police, yeah. and we're showing amazing footage of when they came to your hotel after. So go through all this. First, you go through a checkpoint. They pull you over. They're searching. Continue.
Right. So we got through that. We go up the hill. We pass 2 or 3 other cars. We see more of them on the trails, just standing around, just setting up perimeters. Then we get to where our hotel is. As we pull in, nobody's there except another police van. There's another police van, and we see guys walking down the trail. They've been on a foot patrol. So we're trying to unload our stuff, figure out where we're going to put our stuff, find our room. We finally get into our room. We start unloading stuff. And during this time, Josh had talked to a couple guys. We were trying to call the owners to get the key. And you can see that footage. It's there in the video. They're surrounding him, questioning, what are you doing here? Who are you? Da-da-da-da-da. So,
and let's remember, you're about 2 miles then from even the property line of the big resort where the Bilderberg Group is going to be meeting in 5 days or 4 days now. I mean, simply right. Incredible.
Until Thursday. Yeah, they're not going to be there till Thursday, Alex. Today is Monday. It's Monday morning. But they had the trails closed off last week. They've had these federal police out here for almost a week now. And it's ridiculous. This is taxpayer money.
Well, remember, supposedly this group didn't exist. Then when it did exist, there's no
Right.
governmental decisions being made, but their own annals have been leaked. They